In this video, I'm going to show you how you can earn more value in your endgame Atlas runs using the ritual system in Path of Exile 2, the Third Edict. I'm going to explain the Atlas passive skill tree, Precursor Tablets, and Waystones, and how I use these to engage with the ritual system and extract as much value as I can, and I'm going to show you how to do that in plain English, simple terms, so you can get more value on more runs. With that being said, let's dive into the strategy. If you're not sure what a ritual is, it's an additional event that occurs within maps that you run in your Atlas, and you can quickly identify what a ritual area looks like because it's a big white circle generally, and it has candles kind of surrounding the outside as well. And monsters are going to be in this zone, and when you kill monsters in these ritual areas, you will get something called tribute. And that tribute is what you're going to use to purchase items within the trade window after you complete a ritual. If you die during a ritual, you're not going to get nearly enough tribute, so you have to make sure you're strong enough to complete these ritual runs, and then you can get tribute to buy stuff from the trade window. Because we're trying to run a lot of ritual, you're going to notice that sometimes the Atlas nodes that you're encountering don't always have ritual on it, and there's a great way we can make sure that we get this pretty much every time, and that is through the help of something called towers. Now, towers are these large structures that are oftentimes completely surrounded by different nodes on the Atlas, and so the idea for us is that we want to get as efficiently to the tower as possible to leave as many different map nodes around it available for us to encounter and run with ritual on it. So to make that happen, you would navigate towards a tower, and clicking on it, you're going to put in a waystone in here. Now, the amount of modifiers on the waystone that you run will impact how many different maps around it are affected. And the higher level the waystone, the more magnitude of maps are also affected. So you can read here, there's 3 different buffs that we can get on these Atlas nodes around the tower when we successfully complete it. And so if you have 3 modifiers, you'll unlock both of these slots, both of these Precursor Tablet slots. And if you run a map that has at least 6 modifiers, you unlock all 3 slots. And this is what we want to do. So we want to navigate to a tower, we want to complete a 6 modifier tier 15 waystone if possible, or whatever you're comfortable completing, whatever difficulty that is. You can do a tier 1 waystone with 6 modifiers to guarantee this happens for you, but you'll get a better magnitude if you run tier 15. So you run a tier 15 map with all 6 modifiers. So when you complete the tower with 6 modifiers, you can put 3 tablets in, and these are Precursor Tablets. They're found within maps that you run. They're all going to be magical unless you defeat the Arbiter of Ash, in which case it's rare, or they drop as unique. And so the ones I want you to look for would be something like this: Freedom of Faith, the unique ritual Precursor Tablet, and also ones that give you increased pack size, and then rerolling favors in your ritual altars costs less tribute, which is less ritual points to re-roll it and see more items, and I'll explain that later on in the video. So ritual favors in your maps have 18% increased chance to be omens. This is going to force that we see more omens, which is where we're going to get a lot of our money to spend on crafting or buy items that we need to make our gear better. Omens are amazing, and there's a lot of items in these windows that you're going to want to get your hands on. So this one will force it to be omens more than not, and you're going to notice it also has pack size, and I'm trying to get as many monsters in that ritual as possible. The more monsters, the more tribute. Other ones that are worth noting would be something like a irradiated tablet. This one is going to give you increased monster level, but again, quantity is pretty much everything, so we can go quantity or rarity, and I want you to look for things that are irradiated that give you additional quantity. So something like that, maybe a breach Precursor Tablet that gives you additional quantity in your maps, maybe additional breaches to give you even more density across the ritual altar areas. And then finally, something like Delirium, right? Again, you can have increased stack size of simulacrums if you want, but ultimately we care about quantity. Now, another unique one that I like is the Grand Project. So all the maps in the range are irradiated, so they're all one level higher, and you can access any map in the range. So any node in the range, I should say. So when I click on the map device here, and I go over to the towers that we're talking about, you can notice that if I put that inside this tower that I complete, I can just skip to any actual point within that circle of the tower, and that's what that unique tablet lets me do. So when we start overlapping towers, that's where the real value comes in this strategy, because we start to magnify all of the different maps that we run with additional value, and that's the juice that we want when it comes to towers and Precursor Tablets. So once you're done running your towers and you can see all the different maps are impacted by your ritual content and anything else that you threw on it, the next thing to talk about is how we're going to be enjoying that content. And so my Atlas passive skill tree, I am looking for the following in our ritual content: Tempting Offers, I'm looking for Ominous Portents, I'm looking for Spreading Darkness, and Promised Devotion. This is going to allow me to defer items, so see items in my window, and put it on layaway. I'll get back to that later on. As I get to that item and I keep re-rolling the window, the cost of these big items goes lower and lower and lower until it almost becomes free. And the cost to reset that window should also be almost, if not free, so we constantly see more and more items. Now, those items that we want to see, because at the moment crafting is quite good in this current league, I want to get omens. Omens are nice. and ritual altars are going to spawn monsters faster, so I get through the content and I'm just being more efficient. That's been the go-to so far. This is the skill tree you want to run with. And again, I'm trying to make sure with Spreading Darkness, I want to see 4 ritual altars every single map, and this is a very good node for doing that. It makes sure that no matter what you run, as long as you have ritual on that map, you're going to see 4 altars. And so that's my primary setup. Now, when I'm running the generic tree here for my Atlas passive skill tree, I'm looking to get increased prefix modifiers for my tablets and increased effect of my modifiers on my waystones. So however I craft up my waystones to run in the Atlas, they're just more significant and more powerful. And I'm also going to be trying to run essences with Asmiri spirits slightly, because essences I'm trying to corrupt to hit Essence of Horror and Essence of Hysteria, which are very good modifiers for crafted gear in the endgame and quite expensive to get your hands on, so why pay for it when you could just get it? So this whole system is going for Abyss, Essences, Ritual, with the help of Delirium. So Delirium, if you weren't 8 out of 8, that's fine. I'd like you to get 2 out of 8. And once you get 2 out of 8 completed, your point is going to go into Splinter Stack Size and then Get Out of My Head. This is going to allow the waystones that you get from maps that you run to have a 20% chance to have a random instilled emotion. And what that means is this. When you're running these maps, you're going to see that some of these maps have this smoky texture to it, and that just means that they are delirious. Now, the more delirious a map is, the increased chance it has to maybe have additional monsters to spawn, which is what we want for tribute. The more dense or the more monsters in a zone, the more tribute we get, the more items we get to put on layaway by deferral, or just roll through and see different windows of items to get better items in our maps that we run more often, okay? So that's our current Atlas strategy, improving the power of waystones, improving precursor tablets, and getting our hands on essences and some Asmiri spirits when we can, just to get value on every single map, while also maintaining ritual. I don't really want to speak on Breach too much. Breach is a nice to have. It is going to offer additional density with some of these nodes like Grasping Hands, Frantic Invasion, Rising Pyre, and Crumbling Walls. But again, this is nice to have, and we're focusing more on ritual in this video, so that's the idea. As for the boss section of this Atlas passive tree, we're using Spoils of War, we're going to be using Radiant Waystone, we're taking Crystal Realm, and finally Organized Forces. This is also going to help us try to get additional essences in our map and increase the quantity of things when bosses are killed in our maps. Pretty good. This is our strategy. Let's assume that you're playing and you were super lucky. You ended up getting this Get Out of My Head Waystone that gave you a chance to have an instilled emotion on it. Well, that's fantastic. It would look like something like this. But if you didn't find that, most people aren't. You're watching this video because you're trying to get some wealth here. Here's what I want you to try to find, okay? Any kind of map like this, doesn't matter. I can type in the word normal, okay? And it looks like I have just a couple white maps. We'll start here. There's 2 ways to go. And if you have a normal map, you could first and foremost use an Orb of Alchemy to add 4 modifiers, and you're looking really good if these modifiers aren't lethal for you. The other way to go is to be using an Orb of Transmutation into an Orb of Augmentation, which makes it 2 modifiers on it, and then you would use a Regal Orb to make that rare, giving it a 3rd modifier, and then you could add an Exalted Orb to add 1 more modifier, giving you 4. If you're a really strong player or you have a really good build, you can go to 6 modifiers on that. That's totally fine. I'm not doing that for these guys. I'm going to try to make sure anybody trying this can play a comfortable map. So I'm going to do a 4 mod map right now, okay? And this is it. 4 modifiers. You can see they're all tier 1 on the right-hand side. Perfect. The next thing I want to do is go to my omens. You're going to find a lot of these because you're running ritual content, and I want you to grab an omen of chaotic quantity. This is going to allow you to replace all of the modifiers on this waystone with modifiers that grant pack size. So I'm going to right click this. I'm going to go to my currency tab and use a chaos orb. Okay? And with the chaos orb and omen of chaotic quantity, these are going to change. Perfect. So now I have increased pack size. Right on, as much as I possibly can. The next thing I'm going to do is interact with my emotions. And so these things are found by running the delirium content, those mirrors, those fractured mirrors or simulacrums. If you're running that, you're going to have some of these diluted emotions. So I'm going to recommend you use guilt. You could use greed for rarity, or you could just make it more delirious if you want to use paranoia. But you're going to get a lot of guilt by doing this pretty easily, and you can always upgrade 3 to 1. So you can take 3 liquid ire, and you could bring these, I'll show it to you right now so you know, into your reforging bench, and you can just toss them in, right? Hold shift, boom, boom, boom. And if you reforge, it'll actually upgrade into what we're using here, which is guilt. Just so you know, you can do that as well. So back to business. I'm going to right click on this diluted guilt, liquid guilt, and it's going to open up the instilling window. I'm going to put my map in there, or I control left click to move it over. And I'm just going to click by holding shift 1, 2, and 3. And that's the most we can get is 3. It's going to make 24% increased pack size on this waystone. So I'm going to instill that. And now it looks kind of smoky. right? It's 27% delirious, and right on. Our pack size is 66, so there's a lot more monsters in there. Right on. And you could stop right here. But the next thing I'm going to do for us is I'm actually going to use a preserved vertebrae from the Abyssal League content, and I'm going to right-click to desecrate this waystone. That's what that does. It allows you to desecrate a rare waystone. And the reason we want to do this is we can get some really interesting stuff. We can even get even more monster density from Abyss, if we're lucky to get that. So let's go check that out. Okay, so Abyss pits in the area always have rewards. That's nice. And the Abysses always lead to Abyssal Depths. When I was mentioning to you guys about getting additional value out of your maps, I think Abyssal Depths is really, really nice. It just guarantees that you're going to get some kind of preserved items to help craft your gear in the future. If you're SSF, it's kind of nice. Also, Abyss Pits having rewards every time isn't a bad thing either, but I'm going to take Abyssal Depths. And that's our map. So we have two attempts here. We have the map and we revive once. And we have decent pack size. So I would take this map and I would add this into my atlas on any of these nodes that we've created in the endgame here. Any of these would have a really decent shot of giving us a lot of options. So now that we have this map, we're gonna run this and see what that map looks like. Okay, so we're pretty much done the map, and now it's time to talk about the contaminated ritual rewards that we have. You're going to see that because of the way we're setting this up, we have 6 reroll that we can do at 440 tribute apiece, and we have 6,700 tribute or ritual currency, ritual points that we can use to purchase items, reroll the window, and get new stuff. You can see that I have an Omen of Dextral Crystallization available, Omen of Sinestral Crystallization. So these are all very good, but they cost 4,000 tribute, so I wouldn't be able to really buy too much out of this. And this is where the deferral system comes in. You can get into the mechanics of this. I will link the PoE2 wiki in the description of this video. I just want you to know that this is layaway, and the right way to do this strategy is consistently defer, defer, defer. Keep deferring until the price goes down, and that's the whole strategy. As long as we consistently do this, this will no longer cost that much, and it will ultimately become very, very cheap. Like, that's how I'm getting stacks of 29, and this will become like 7 tribute. So here's how we do it. I'm going to click on defer. So I like all of these ones that I've already made a selection on. I like this 7 as well. So I grabbed 7, 5, 7, 7. I'm holding shift and I just click on these. These are the ones that I want. Okay, this is good. Good enough for me. I'm happy with those. If there's any items or any currency that I want, I would also defer that. I hit confirm. It's going to take 1,100 tribute from the pool and remove it so I can keep seeing these items. Okay, I hit confirm. Done. Now you can see that they all have an icon. They've been deferred. I'm now going to reroll this at 440 tribute apiece. And anything here that I want, any new ones, there's some more petition splinters, which let me fight King in the Mist to get even more of these ritual skill tree points. If I don't have all 8, I could grab Omen of Resurgence if that's something that I want, but I'm okay. So now that I've refreshed the window, this is good. I'm going to click on defer, and I'm going to defer it again. And all of a sudden it says, hey, deferring failed. What'd that say? Item is too cheap. Ah, I guess I have to buy it. What's it going to cost me? 35. Deal. Defer again. How much is this? Perfect. -30. I'm going to keep deferring these, right? And I grab another one if I want. And that's all that I do. I just keep grabbing splinters and I just keep deferring. Confirm. Go again. Reset. Okay, what's here? What do I want? Any good bases? Any good items? Check everything out. Make sure you're looking because you might go over something that's really, really good and you didn't even know it. Like 35% movement speed boots, for an example. Okay, let's just keep deferring. So big items first and then lower tier at the end. So I want to get all this jazz. This is good. -800. That's fine. Again, I'll defer all this. Too cheap. I got to buy it now. So I know that's going to come up for purchase because I have to pay for it. Done deal. Get it out of the window for 23 points. Deal. Okay, and this one as well, 444. But I just got it for 23. That's because I continue to defer. Okay, it's going to set that price lower and lower. Let's re-roll again. What do we have here? Okay, so Uncut level 18, not really important. I'm not personally interested in Omen of Greater Exaltation, but that doesn't mean it's bad. If that's something you want, pick it up. So let's defer again. I'm going to defer this. I'm going to defer this. And that's it. I'm just going to go through and choose whichever ones that I want. I'm going to consistently defer these. Okay, great. Let's go. Confirm. What's this one? 338. Okay, I'll defer these again. No problem. Done. I don't need that 5 stack. Let's go again. Anything else insane here that I want? Nah, looks pretty generic, so that's okay. Omen of Sinestral Erasure, that's all right. That's a really good one. So while this is active, Chaos Orb only removes prefix modifiers. Hell yeah. But now we have a problem. I got too greedy, and unfortunately, I can't pay for the deferral cost. I can't even pay the deferral fee. The future discount would have been fantastic, and this is a lesson to learn. You don't want to be doing this all the time. Like, I don't have to be deferring 7 stacks or anything like this when I have options to get 29 and great omens. So in the beginning, you may want to do this, but just realize that as you reroll these windows, there's going to be even more opportunities to see great items. And if you do just defer everything, you may run out of tribute, and it may not be lean enough to get everything that you want every single time. So it's not always a shopping spree, not always, but in our case, we have 783 left. We have 2 rerolls to go. I'm going to go ahead and defer these a few times. It's going to cost me 600. So I'm really running out of windows here. I'm going to grab the big stack if I can. Insufficient tribute. Okay, well, I kind of want that, so instead of these 2, I'm going to go ahead and defer the 29. And which one do I want? Crystallization, I think I'll take suffixes on this one. And cool, let's defer that. I got 150 left. I can take this now, or I can defer it, which I will do. And that's it. Keep deferring with whatever left, so it's 102 for these 2. Perfect, done. Got it. And that's it. And that's how we're going to do this. That's the whole strategy. So you consistently reroll, and you want to get that tribute cost to reroll down to 0 so you see more high-end items like Omen of Sinestral Erasure and others. You could hit Mirrors of Kalandra. You could hit Divine Orbs. It's all here for you. And this is the strategy. This is the strategy I'm using. You're going to try to corrupt essences when you find them. You're going to run Abyss, leading to depths when you can. And with the help of a little bit of delirium content, you too can get additional content like this to get you wealth in every map that you run. Just make sure that you're not making it too difficult for yourself. And please don't use this strategy until you hit at least red tier difficulty maps, because I think the value just isn't there yet, in my opinion, but to each their own. I want to take a quick moment to say thank you to all the community members that participated, making this video what it is for you, giving me their insights, and helping you guys get even more value on every map that you run in the endgame of Path of Exile 2, the Third Edict. Happy to make these videos for you. Hope that they help you. Thank you very much, and I'll see you on the next one.